Did the Vikings have sandpaper? Not exactly, but they absolutely had ways to grind and smooth and scour polished metal, wood, bone and antler, and once you look at the evidence properly, the real story is far more interesting than the actual myth. Because when most people hear the word sandpaper, they imagine a sheet of grit glued to it. That is a later invention. The earliest commonly cited form of true coated sandpaper appears in the 13th century in China, where abrasives like crushed shells or sand were bonded to parchment using natural glues. So, if we are talking about the Iron Age, the Roman period or the Viking Age, we need to be precise. They did not have sandpaper as we know it today. What they had were abrasives. And that changes everything. Let's go back to the Iron Age and even earlier. Abrasive technology is ancient. Emery, a natural hard abrasive stone, was being used as early as the 5th millennium BC in the Eastern Mediterranean. It was used for cutting, grinding and polishing stone and metal. That tells us something important. Long before the Vikings, people already understood that certain materials could shape and smooth surfaces through abrasion. By the Iron Age, that knowledge would have been widespread, even if we do not have direct evidence from Northern Europe describing every method. The technology itself already existed. If you had access to hard grit, sand or stone, you had the ability to polish. Now, moving to the Roman world, here the evidence becomes much clearer. Roman armour and metalwork were regularly cleaned and maintained using abrasive materials. Sources suggest they had things like sand, ash, alum and fine earths such as gypsum to scour and polish surfaces. After that, cloths, including goat hair cloth, could be used to bring out the shine. So again, not sandpaper, but absolutely abrasive cleaning and polishing, and I think that's amazing. There is also evidence that abrasive grit could be used alongside tools. In some historical stoneworking methods, a smooth blade or saw was used with added sand or grit, and it was actually the grit that did the cutting. And I've seen that in real life and it's fascinating. The tool simply carried it. That idea that loose abrasive particles do the work is key to understanding ancient technology. Now we move into the early medieval period. One of the most fascinating pieces of written evidence comes from a letter associated with Theodoric the Great in the late 5th and early 6th century. In it, swords are described as being ground on a stone and then polished with a special powder until they became, I quote, a mirror for men. That tells us two things. First, extremely high levels of polish were being achieved. Second, they were using fine abrasive powders to do it. We do not know exactly what that powder was, but later medieval technical texts give us strong clues. A compilation known as the Mappa Clavicula, with its roots in late antiquity, describes polishing using emery, crushed pottery and pumice. Experimental archaeology has tested similar materials, including fine clays, iron-rich silt, kaiserlichlor and even ash from plants like horsetail, and found that some of them could produce a mirror-like finish on metal. So when you see a Viking blade shiny, that is not an accident, that is a skill, time and abrasive technology at work. Now what about sharkskin? This is where things get really interesting. Shark and ray skins are covered in tiny hard structures called dermal denticles. These are like microscopic teeth and they make the surface naturally rough and abrasive. Because of this, shark skins have been used historically as a polishing material, especially in woodworking and fine craft traditions. In later periods, particularly the Asia and early modern Europe, shark or ray skin was known as sharkskin, was used both decoratively and practically. It could grip, shape and smooth surfaces in a way very similar to sandpaper. So yes, sharkskin can function as natural sandpaper, but here is where we need to stay accurate. While it is entirely plausible such materials could have been used in the earlier period, the strongest documented evidence for shark or ray skin as a recognised craft abrasive comes from the later historical sources, not direct from the Iron Age or the Viking Age archaeology in Northern Europe. And that matters because as a history channel we separate what is proven from what is possible. Archaeology preserves stone, metal and sometimes mineral residues very well. It does not always preserve organic materials like skin, cloth or plant fibres unless conditions are perfect. That means some tools and materials may have existed without leaving clear evidence behind. So the absence of proof is not proof of absence, but it does mean we should be careful with our claims. So what is the final answer? The Iron Age, the Roman world, the medieval period all had advanced knowledge of abrasion. They used sand, ash, stone, powders, pumice, emery, pottery fragments and plant-based materials to grind and polish surfaces. They could produce blades polished to a mirror finish using these techniques. Sharkskin is a real and effective natural abrasive and it appears in later craft traditions, but we cannot confidently say it was standard practice in Viking Age Northern Europe based on current evidence. And true, sandpaper where grit is glued onto a backing comes later, so no, Vikings did not have sandpaper in the modern sense, but they understood the science behind it. And in many ways they were already doing the same job, just with different tools. Now here are the sources: the history of sandpaper and coated abrasive, including early Chinese examples from Wikipedia. Sandpaper, Roman cleaning and polishing methods using abrasives like sand, ash and gypsum. Tyne Weir Museum. A blog, Shiny Shiny by Alex Crome, a very good read. Experimental Archaeology on Medieval Polishing Techniques and Materials, Exarch Journal, Reconstructing a Medieval Polishing Bench. Ancient use of emery as an abrasive material going back to prehistory. Geological Society publications on emery use in antiquity. Use of abrasive grit in historical stoneworking techniques. Namho Mining Framework Document. Shark and ray skin as abrasive materials known as sharkskin. Encyclopedia of Britannica Sharkskin. So I find this subject to be absolutely fascinating. We all take sandpaper for granted in the modern world, and it's fascinating to see that in the 13th century it was fundamentally recorded in a manuscript. So it does make me think, and perhaps one day in a bog somewhere when the soil conditions are right we may find some early and medieval sandpaper. It makes logical sense to me that you could have leather and you have the ability to bond fine ground sand or other materials onto leather. So could that not be the precursor of sandpaper? Sandpaper today is based and made mostly on a form of cloth. It's flexible, it tears, and it's great when you use it and you get very mucky hands. But I'd love to know what you think about this fascinating subject. Do you think yourself that the Vikings had sandpaper? Or do you think they're just using techniques that we do not know of to polish their blades? Because let's face it, Anglo-Saxon and Viking blades are very shiny in the modern world and were probably most likely like that in the actual time of the medieval age. If you've enjoyed this video, then I do urge you to subscribe and please leave me a comment on your thoughts on sandpaper and how old it actually is. Goodbye.